How to stop comparing yourself to others. Break the habit of feeling insecure, envious, and discontented with your life. Who do you most frequently compare yourself to? If you're not sure, try this question. Who have you compared yourself to in the last 24 hours? If you're still not sure, think of the last time you checked your Facebook or Instagram feed. Which updates made you feel envious, or made you feel as if your life paled in comparison? In turn, did any posts make you feel smug or better than that person? 1. Start practicing and living in gratitude. This one habit changed everything for me. Several years ago. There's this thing that happens when you start to be actively grateful. It's like a strong dose of happiness that goes right into your core and starts to shine throughout your whole body. Start with 2 things, small or huge, that you're grateful for every day. Write them down on any piece of paper you find laying around you. Be aware of your focus as it shifts from what you don't have to what you do have. Gratitude journaling will make you rediscover the many things that bring you joy. 2. Become aware of and avoid your triggers. Start noticing the situations that cause you to play the comparison game. Social media, as I've mentioned, is a big one for most of us. What about other circumstances? Is there a certain person who is constantly bragging about this or that, or asks you questions about your life that are designed to make you feel inferior? Are there certain activities, such as strolling through a high-end shopping mall, that frequently make you feel discontented with your life? When you were feeling just fine about your life an hour before? Make a list of who and what you frequently envy or compare yourself to. Write how each negatively affects you, and why it's actually a waste of your time. Resolve to catch yourself next time. Avoid comparison triggers if you can, especially if the activity or contact doesn't add meaning or any real value to your life. Before move on to the next step, if you found value on this video, please like and subscribe. 3. Learn to compete with yourself instead of others. Instead of focusing on where you are compared to others, focus on your own goals. Where are you compared to, where you were at this time last year? Or 5 years ago? One of the reasons I journal is because it does wonderful things for my sanity. It gives me clarity and perspective about God's blessings in my life. Plus, it's just a lot of fun to go back and thumb through the pages of old journals to see how much I've grown. In the past year, you've learned, stretched, improved, accomplished, and created. Think about how much of that you've done in your lifetime. 4. Focus on your strengths. You can be humble and still recognize your strengths, talents, and accomplishments. You don't have to beat yourself up to be humble. In fact, that's a pretty unhealthy approach, and it's one of the biggest dangers of comparison living. The more we compare ourselves to others, the worse we feel about ourselves. That's a dangerous trap we've got to avoid. Try writing down things you really like about yourself. Things you can identify as strengths. Don't just write good people skills like you'd put on a boring resume. Make them personal. I'm proactive. I like accomplishing things. So whether it's responding to edits on my next book or making dinner reservations, I'm always looking ahead and taking action. I love people. I really have always enjoyed being around people. Embracing this strength gives me the ability to make people feel loved and cared for when they hang out with me. 5. Remind yourself that your fears and insecurities are universal. You're actually perfectly normal in feeling this need to compare. It's universal. It's ingrained in the way we operate and the way the human mind works. The best thing we get out of it is the motivation to do more and achieve more, and even a boost to your self-esteem. But the worst thing we get out of it is a feeling of inferiority. Like we're less than and not enough and not worthy. Remind yourself that other people feel it too. We promise you that the people you see as perfect and successful have insecurities of their own. 6. Shift the focus back to you. Shine the spotlight on your own achievements. Let's bring the focus back to the hard work you've done to get to where you are. If you're a perfectionist, you often forget to celebrate the smaller milestones along the way. Because you're so focused on getting to the finish line. Then you start comparing yourself to others and literally lose track of all the progress you've done. 7. Remember, we compare the worst of ourselves with the best of others. Here's a new perspective for you, courtesy of best-selling author Joshua Becker. We look at others' success through the lens of our own weaknesses. That means we'll compare what we assume is the best about someone else to our own insecurities that we feel strongly about. Have you noticed a general theme when you start comparing yourself to others? Is it when you see a post about a presumed happy long-term relationship? Is it when you see someone's progress in the corporate world? We're also so much tougher on ourselves than we are on our friends. That harsh internal critic can leave us feeling discouraged, even before we begin comparing ourselves to others. The best cure we know for that is self-compassion, something you can work through with journaling. 8. Unlock the power of contentment. Gratitude leads to contentment, which allows you to be in a state of joy and satisfaction no matter what your circumstances. You're happy with where you are in life and aren't worried about what other people are doing. That doesn't mean you don't have goals for the future, or that you aren't working toward being a better person tomorrow than you are today. And it definitely doesn't mean that you're stagnant, or that you're choosing to sit around and do nothing new, exciting, and challenging with your life. It just means that you develop a peace about your life and a sincere enjoyment about what you have today without basing all your happiness on what you hope to achieve tomorrow. 9. Celebrate other people. Constantly comparing ourselves to others leads to us not cheering on the people who are working hard to get somewhere. And it makes it hard to celebrate with the ones who've accomplished something. So, here's my challenge to you: when a friend tells you about her new job, be happy for her. If someone buys a new house, take part in their enthusiasm. If someone shares some great news with you, keep the focus on them instead of turning it back to yourself. Find big and small ways to celebrate other people's accomplishments. The Bible says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice." Don't feel like you're losing just because someone else is winning. Repeat your priorities when you start to forget. You know you're not a person who values money more than job satisfaction. You know that, and yet you still feel like shit when you hear how much more your friend earns. That envy eats away at you even though you would never actually work in that field. This is a good time to think about your priorities. Make a quick list and jot down 3 or 4 things that you want in life more than anything. Focus on what it will take to achieve these goals, and that should snap you out of it. If you like this video, please subscribe and share with your friends and family. Thank you for watching.